practicing walking through walls. It takes some getting used to, but I'm getting better at it. Anyway, as promised, here's part 2 of the living room jacking process. But more importantly, I forgot in the last video to show off my cool new bib overalls. Check these bad boys out. Sweet Carhartt action. Look at that. Ready for anything now. Pockets, protection, an awesome layer. I've got like sweatpants underneath. You can get quilted ones, which are like hella warm, but they're also just so like baggy and huge. These are like an okay bagginess. There's plenty of room for sweatpants underneath, and I'll be able to wear them in like the warmer months as well, without layers underneath. So they're really cheap. Like Alex had a 25% discount thingy, so took these from like $80 down to $60, which is pretty good. So that's the more important thing. But secondarily, we have now put, so if you'll remember, it wasn't that long ago, you should be able to remember, there was the bottle jack was there, right, in the end of the room, and I let it down, and in its place I put, see those shims? So they're now propping up the kind of end of the main beam. So I put those in. I also did all of this extra blocking. So see, can't see there and there and there. So the blocking all the way along, I've put that in. This new timber that you can see, this that one, that is now nice and level. I did this cool improvising thing. So see this strap, this 2x4, I've used 2 like hardcore structural screws to pull that up using the joists on either side. And with a spacer, I've managed to like jam this new timber up into position next to the one that it's sistering, which is the term for like structural assistance. It's kind of nice though. I like the term. It's like, oh, I got you. Like, I'll be your sister, and that's what so they're together, helping each other, which is pretty cool. And this blocking is there just to stop it from rolling over. Like when you've got like a really high load on a tall, thin element, it wants to like eventually take advantage of any slight variance in plumb, and nothing is perfectly plumb. The higher the force, the more it's going to want to push it over in that direction. Even if it's like leaning over by a micron, like several tons worth of weight is just going to like take advantage of that, and you've got a lever kind of moment. So what happens here with these blocks is that just like really resists that really nicely. And so when you have a large force, it kind of translates more broadly through the structure and not just into one spot and then like kind of collapsing the members around it, if you can imagine that. So got this blocking in thanks to my cool strap idea. I thought I needed to jack there, but then I realized no, I don't need that much force, and I can do the same kind of squeezing action by using 2 hardcore screws to like pull it up instead. So that's what happened, and it worked out. Just getting these blocks in was fun. They're all really tight. I had to like sledgehammer them in, but that's exactly what you want. You don't want any like wiggle at all. So that's all rock solid. So then took the jack from the end of the room after shimming it up, put it in the middle here, and then just wailed on it and got this pushed up really nicely to the point now that this LVL isn't rolling over at all. It's nice and straight. At the moment we're in the process of sending in the screws, so putting those big structural lag screws in, focusing on the top because that's where it's kind of like rolling over the most. So I figure the top needs the most screws. I'll put a couple in the bottom, but probably twice as many in the top at least. So once I've done that, I'm hoping that when I let this jack down, it doesn't actually settle that much, and that means that we will have like at least pushed the structure up a bit more. My next goal is to kind of jack, but instead of there being a little block at the top, I'm going to put in a temporary like jacking beam, which is going to span back and forth, kind of like between the joists, to push them all up together, if you can imagine that. So that'll kind of spread, and then with them all pushed up sort of relatively more, that beam will sag a little bit, so the ones on the ends won't be pushed up with as much force as the ones on the inside. But it's the one that's on the inside that we want to push up the most anyway. So that could work out. And then I'm gonna block this entire area in a big kind of circle around where that jack, the main jack is. So you can kind of imagine this as like pushing up on a membrane. Like you're creating like a kind of cone out of the structure. Like imagine it's just a big piece of rubber and you're pushing up in the middle, and it creates like a kind of big cone of force. So we want to kind of imagine that cone of force with our spreading beam, kind of allow for that and push everything up a little bit more togethery, and then in that circle block everything so that everything's kind of tied together so much more betterly. And then when you let it down, it's all kind of holding itself in place. You've got each joist tethered to the one next to it with the blocks, and they're all kind of holding each other up a lot more. Isn't that nice? All sort of sistered and blocked and solid. So I don't know. The boys, when they put the LVL up, they did a pretty quick, dirty job, and they certainly got it up there. And I didn't really brief them on saying I want the sag taken out. My only direction was get that LVL up there, and they did that. So now we're taking it to the next level, and we're going to like block the crap out of this ceiling. I'm going to have to take more of this lath down, and yeah, there will be a part 3. It probably won't be today. The light is dying slowly, but it gets dark pretty quick around these parts this time of year. And but yeah, I'm so jazzed. You can probably tell. This feels like one of those triumphant days where you just get way more done than you thought you were going to. It's freaking brilliant. I'm tickled pink. One of the last like amazing days like that I had was when I framed up this bathroom floor. That was a freaking great day too. That just like flew along, and it's rock solid, and I just love the result. And this is feeling like that as well. So yeah, I'm gonna get some more of this, some more of these screws in, and then and then probably call it a day. But we'll see. I mean, we're moving pretty good, so might see a part 3 sooner rather than later. But yeah, can't promise nothing. Yeah, I think I see how it's got to go too. I'm gonna have to screw that spreading beam first and then jack, rather than having it sit there loosely. This was so much easier. This jack, when Alex was over just before, and Joe was here too. See, he did a big sweep. Wasn't that nice? Big sweep. When they were over here earlier, it was just so much easier to get this up with some help. Someone holding the top while you kind of like fuss with the bottom. I can do it by myself. I've done a lot by myself in this place, but having an extra hand really does go a long way sometimes. Although I feel a little bit bad. They did spend a bit of time just standing around watching me, asking what they could do, and it's like, But when the time came for the help, it was critical. So, well, thanks guys. Part 2 done, and I've got the fire, so I've got to keep rocking. But before I forget, while I'm remembering, shout out Matt Roberts. I love you so much, and it delights me that you are also one of my loyal viewers. So, wow, thank you very much, buddy. And let's see if we can. No, hang on. Let's try again. One more. Did it again. Haha. Oh, getting better at this. Yeah. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. 10 minutes, 20 seconds. Cool. Yeah, stay tuned. But till then, continue being lovely. Bye.